Alright guys, welcome back to Fluid Power. I think that sometimes we'll think this hose to rest well, right?
Yeah, that's it.
Alright, one thing I want to key on here is when we're working on this equipment, guys, we need to put stuff back. Because we had 2 cylinders that were off the brackets. As a matter of fact, they even had the aluminum end adapters removed and sitting on the shelf. Pieces will get lost if we don't put it back. If you look over here at the mechanical bench, we currently have a couple standoffs, the actual Kearney brake drum, 2 pillow block bearings, all sitting out, shafts, keyways, or actually key stocks still sitting out. Unacceptable. We only have a limited amount of stuff to work with. We don't want to lose it. Now to catch you up with some other interesting news, we did have Ecolab and Macy's in here Tuesday. And they seem to be very pleased with what they're seeing so far with our curriculum and the lab and the classroom. They're also wanting us to add more stuff to here. So we're looking at, on the other side of this wall, actually there's 2 walls here, we'll be expanding out if things work out with what we're looking at. And could possibly have as much as, it's between 100 to 200 feet over there in length and about 2 50-foot sections. So, or actually 2 25-foot sections, pardon. So it'll be anywhere between 50 feet by 150 to 50 feet to 200 feet of additional lab area we'll have. Half of that will be for forklift training. We'll actually train people to stand up as far as a reach and a man up. I reckon y'all know the difference between the 2 forklifts. If not, a man up's when you ride on the platform, you have to wear a full body harness and you retrieve product from the shelves and set it on the platform that you ride up and down on. A reach, actually, you stay down at the floor level and the boom extends up, and it could be a 2 deep or a 3 deep or 1 deep forklift where it actually extends out, gets the product, then you lift it up, retrieve it from the racking system and bring it down. Then they also have a sit down or stand up or turret truck, as some will refer to it as. Then you have what they call a tugger, which actually pulls a platform around. Looks kind of like a little small little tractor of sorts. All these are battery operated. So this will be multifaceted. You're probably thinking, well, how does this pertain to mechatronics? People run into racking. It gets damaged. You can't leave it damaged. Because if you, trust me, if you've ever been around racking, you know what the domino effect means, right? You get enough weight at the end of a rack and then have the legs fold under, generally the rest of the rack comes down. That can mean tens of thousands of dollars of product that would now be on the floor, not to mention people could be getting injured as this stuff's falling. So what that means for us is now you get the welding experience and to see firsthand what these technicians will go through to actually make repairs on racking. Something they need at Ecolab and other distribution facilities. So we're looking at a couple pieces of process equipment coming in from Ecolab, possibly some forklift equipment, possibly racking to go into that area for training for forklift. Macy's is looking to bring in some flat belt conveyor. So we have, I mean, it's expansion, which is always good. Obviously, Mr. Zuby and myself can only do so much, so with that expansion, hopefully be able to expand out with adjuncts and other faculty. But what it brings forth for you guys is true hands-on equipment. Add a welding aspect in there, and I mean, Ecolab needs someone right now that can weld stainless. And it's 4 to 6 gauge stainless pipe in position. It isn't where it's out on the shop floor where you got all the access. You can take your leisure and set it up all nice. No. You're going to have to be very agile, You could be working off a ladder, it could be some other type of platform lift, and you have to take and work your way around. You get to weld so much and then you got to reposition. Weld so much and reposition. John, what's the problem with welding and then repositioning?
You got to move a lot, but there's a way around that too a little bit, if you can do it. Welding in a mirror.
Yes.
On that too. It ain't no fun. But
So what does that mean for the students currently in the program now? Because this apparently is going to take some time.
It may not take as long as you think. They're looking to have part of it in by next year, next spring.
So it's going to become part of the...
It'll add to the availability of us, instead of focusing on, which is nothing wrong with the trainers we have, but now I'm getting you with your hands-on equipment. So when we get into the flexible manufacturing, as we will in your last semester of the mechatronics, you know, flexible manufacturing, that's simulated automation or assembly line, all right? Now, not only do you have the flexible manufacturing that we would have in-house, and we're looking at a new Bosch system, by the way, you would also have automated equipment sitting over here that they would be running, and when something breaks, myself or Mr. Zuby would be there with you, assisting you in troubleshooting and fixing the problem. So now we get real repairs. I mean, now it's, oh, we got to get this right because we're training people. They're here only for X amount of time. So now there's a time impact on the repair. I can try to simulate that, and Mr. Kelly can tell you that I've tried in different ways, and Mr. Jones, where I'll be over top of them, and I'll be just shouting at them. I mean, I'm not getting belligerent, but I was shouting at them. Look, I got 20 people waiting. They're costing me $15 an hour. How much longer are you going to be? Do I need to get you help? The real life things you run into in industry, but now, I mean, I can try to simulate. He's the whole time, he's like Charlie Brown. The only thing he hears is blah, 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 blah. Because in the classroom. But now, I'm out on a piece of equipment, and I see 4 and 5 and 6 people standing, and an instructor. And they're waiting, and they're trying to find things to do, or they're leaning on the broom because they've already swept as much as they can sweep up. It becomes real. It's no longer simulated, it becomes real. You can't put a value on that because now you can go into industry and say, look, I have the experience.
That's where it comes into, as you're running, you're talking about the sounds and
smells, sounds,
stuff like that. Seeing
things that just don't look quite right. All that now is real life. So, you know, it takes it to that next level. And that's the thing that I wanted. I want to be able to get us, because I don't want you just leaving out here being technicians. The goal is world-class technicians. All right? If you go put the bar up there, let's make it something that we got to work to get a hold of. There's no need to settle. I think we're just going to cruise. I got her in cruise control. I'm island. Don't bother me. Don't make me sweat. No, this will really help change things up. And Macy's was even considered with the conveyor system that they're looking to set up here, that we had actually take it apart, have it together, we take it apart and then reassemble it and see to it that it functions. That means setting up snubber rollers, end rollers, lacing belt, putting lacing back in belt, wiring up motors, single phase and 3-phase. Because the biggest, that 3-phase word, that's one thing that apparently a lot of the technicians are lacking, 3-phase experience.
What does that mean?
3-phase, you got 3 legs of current instead of 1. I can actually run lower amperage, smaller wire size, and get the same work. Lower amperage, higher voltage, I still get the wattage, right? That's what ohms tells us, right? If I double the voltage, I do what to the amperage?
Cut it in half.
Thank you, Jeff. All the rest of y'all should have jumped on that. The 106 class, that should have been
I said it, you just didn't hear me.
Ah, so what does that mean, Ed? That means any other time it'd be half. It's in half.
Oh.
Speak up.
Well, actually, I'm a bashful fella.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. You're a politician too, then, right?
Oh, yeah, I love to sidestep.
That's good. That's good. All right, but I mean, to me, that is very good news, especially if we can get that entire area over there, 100 feet by 25 feet for another lab area, and then we can add the forklift aspect of it. We're getting other repair and racking. You know, we're troubleshooting the stretch wrapper that they're going to have there, making jigs and actually helping the other people that's doing the work every day to help them make jigs so they can do repair components. I mean, all this is just. I mean, I get excited about the whole aspect of it all. Because now you got OJT. Isn't that right, Mr. Zuby?
Absolutely.
Because he was talking with Macy's, so he could better tell you about Macy's, but the conversation I had with Ecolab, they actually, I guess we could say it, they want to have their own Ecolab University. You've heard of McDonald's University for their training. They'd like to have here at Blue Ridge their own version of the Ecolab University. Mr. Zuby.
You hit me on the way out.
So I guess the Purdue University is all about chickens?
There you go.
You don't like chicken?
You don't like chicken?
No, I said, who doesn't?
Oh, I was gonna say.
I love chicken.
Say, if we fixed a whole bunch of fried chicken or something here, I didn't think anybody would turn it away.
I like boiled chicken, grilled chicken.
All right. Starting to sound like bubblegum shrimp. 350 ways to fix shrimp. But anyway, like I said, it's real good news to hear the enthusiasm from the companies that they want to be involved with Blue Ridge. All right. They're already seeing what they're getting from the training that Mr. Zuby and myself are offering, but now let's take it to the next level. Now we really know what to expect from the students that are leaving there.
That pretty much guarantees.
Open some big doors.
Yeah.
Open some big doors.
I like that.
We just turned, I spoke to somebody, I don't know what it was, spoke to somebody yesterday about the US Silicon,
Oh yeah.
about how they just had a retirement party for one of their technicians the other day, and they expect 5 of them to be gone in the next 2 or 3 years.
Where is your Silicon?
Over on 522.
Berkeley Springs.
Go on the other side of Berkeley Springs.
But they're supposed to be moving out of the area.
No, they're not.
They've been
100 years worth of sand still in the area.
Oh, yeah.
They actually bought hundreds of acres on the other side of the river, and they'll actually be trucking their stuff over to process it there at that
I don't
facility.
think they're going anywhere.
Yeah, what we were told was they got 100 years worth of product there that they.
That was my question. I thought, how long? I mean, how much longer can you dig sand out of Berkeley Springs before it just collapses and falls to the ground? But he said, there's plenty.
They've already been there right at 100 years as it is.
They've been there as long as I've been there. Is there mine still down there? Sand.
Sand, silica. At one point, they used to mine a large majority of the silica that was used for PV panels. But they don't have the purity right now. There's a lot of iron ore in the sand that they're getting now.
They do a lot of filter sand.
But silicone caulk, paints, you name it. I mean, their products used in, I mean, just a wide array. I mean, what was it, the space shuttle, Matt? Yeah. So, I mean, they got a wide range of usages for their product, which, you know, that's what business is all about. How diverse can you be? Don't put all your eggs in one basket. I know a lot of y'all heard that. Those that's got the stress highlights anyway should have already heard that. All right, now let's get back to hydraulics. Obviously, we got one sitting up here where they did the parallel, trying to synchronize the cylinders, and I believe that Mr. Kelly was pretty fortunate in the way it worked out for him.
I don't think we're supposed to speak right now. It's working.
Well, you had them working in unison, or pretty much so at one point, when you had the pressure set correctly. And that's synchronizing so that they're working in unison. Otherwise, you can bind a platform up, right? If you had a gantry and you had one cylinder's overpowering the other one, and then it jostles it, the next thing you know, you just broke the whole unit up. Can't have that. The next thing we're getting ready to get into is accumulators. Now, this last section that we're doing in hydraulics is the last section in hydraulics other than troubleshooting, which is at the end of the semester. Once we finish up week 7 and 8, we will go into pneumatics. All right? So just giving y'all a heads up. So if we're not caught up with all the hydraulic stuff, you need to be getting caught up. I got a stack in there I got to put into my Excel spreadsheet. You got questions, sir?
Yeah, what are we, for pneumatic trainers, do we have those? Do we have pneumatic trainers? Is that? Is that where they
One that looks like this,
Oh,
but it's got pneumatic stuff on it.
Oh, okay, I got it.
It also
I thought
looks
that was
like
the-
this? Are you gonna bring them in here?
Yeah, well, we can. It's just, it may be more beneficial out there, but for the air compressor aspect, because this could be a little bit louder than the hydraulics.
Yeah. I thought that was one of those, but that answers my question.
What we did, the way that we purchased them, they take and put pneumatic on one side and hydraulic on the other. They combo them when you buy them. I didn't like that idea. If I'm gonna work, I'd rather have all the hydraulics on one. That way, all my mess is in one area. And then all my pneumatic stuff doesn't get laden with hydraulic oil. You'll find that in factories, no need to have it right now. And that into the pneumatic components is where the electrical comes in. So once we complete this, the first thing I'm gonna do is go over the proper use. Now, how many people have actually looked at the videos I put on there about the multimeters and how to use them? That's kind of the response I figured it would get. They're there for your benefit. If I wanted to be a stickler, I would say, all right, have at it, show me how to use a meter. I've given you the tools. You chose not to use them. I'd almost bet you if Mr. Jones would have used a multimeter like he tried to use the one time, and there had actually been 480 volt on there, he'd be thankful to look at a video to prevent him from holding the leads in the wrong fashion.
Are you talking about the trainer I shortened?
Well, no, I didn't even allude to that, but now that you brought it up,
I'm just trying to figure out where we.
well, let me see if I can refresh thy memory.
What you got on video?
No, but I got it in this video. Where you grabbed the meter and you held the leads like this?
Yeah, hold behind the little. Yeah, I remember that one.
Kind of forgot to, I mean, didn't make any sense. It had that stopper there. Yeah, if you went up to the bus bar and that switch gear and you went like this, I don't know if 911 would be able to help then. But you're not going to go near electricity operating the meter that way. Not on my watch. So we will go through and you'll show me that we can use the multimeter appropriately. All right. We're not going to change the leads. We're not going to check amperage with the multimeter. If you want to check amperage, I'll get my amp probe out and you can use it. All right. Everybody understand that? Are we all good with that? Well, like I said, we will go over the proper use. Please review those videos. I went through and tried to find something that would be useful to you and help you with a better understanding. I don't expect you to get in there and be able to range it correctly, that most of the meters have auto ranging on. But I do expect you to know the difference between the symbol for direct current and alternating current. All right, now let's get on to the upcoming lesson here. Any questions about what we've done thus far? Were you praying? I mean,
Light switch. It's impossible to see that thing.
you see, when you point straight up, I think you're praying. If you'd have pointed out this way, I'd have knew you meant my lights.
That's assuming which deity I was, praying to.
I only deal with one.
Well, for him, God's in the other room.
What?
Point off, just point over here, the other room.
Give me strength. See where we're at here. Oh my goodness, this thing is slow. Bear with me, guys.
Are you going from, Jefferson Ford?
Yeah, here we go.
It starts around like 200.
Well, I see accumulators here, and that's the beginning of the chapter. It's just the refresh rate of the viewer is not as fast as the mouse that I'm using. Apparently it doesn't like that page at all. All right, Unit 4. Functional circuits. It's going to introduce you to the design and operation of hydraulic application circuits using accumulators, hydraulic motors, pressure reducing valves, and remotely controlled relief valves. And by the way, Mr. Kelly, thank you for remembering and not grabbing the flywheel as it told you to apply resistance with your hand.
Yeah, who put that in?
Oh, I jumped all over that hole about that.
Well, somewhere it was, right?
That's even worse.
Grab.
Because if there's a nick or something on there, now it's hooked the glove and pulled your hand on around. At least with your hand, the nick's just going to cut you and create a leak in the plumbing. Your plumbing, not the hydraulic.
Fair enough.
I'd rather have a cut than have my hand wrapped up in there and maybe rip the skin or the flesh clean off the bones, or even take the finger off.
Yeah, just think about that. You're calling that one.
In the machine shop.
Sir, yes, sir.
The instructions actually said to make sure it's smooth and to check it for burrs.
So what does that tell you?
Probably unsafe.
But guys, that's the thing, please, if you see something that Mr. Zuby and myself miss, that it would lead you to believe that there could be a risk of your health and or welfare, or those standing near you, let us know so we can draw attention to that so Mr. Jones doesn't get hurt when he does it.
He'll probably gonna get hurt anyways.
No, we're not going to assume that you will. However, just want to put that out there. Now, we'll get back to this. Numerous hydraulic applications, including gearboxes, belts, winches, and other production machinery require fluid energy to be converted into mechanical rotary energy. Hydraulic motors, discussed in exercise 4.2, can do this conversion directly. And the one application I think of that comes to mind, well, a couple applications. How many have noted or seen the concrete trucks? They have a hydraulic motor that turns that big drum that keeps that concrete mixing. How many have seen the outside platform lifts that people are working on the outside of buildings on? They actually move and steer with hydraulics. Another good example comes to mind for me, for those who's been involved with extrusion or injection molding. The screw that actually pushes that molten plastic is hydraulically driven. It's a big, and that's a huge hydraulic motor. That actually has 3-inch feed lines, and the motor itself's 1.5 feet in diameter, I think it is, 1.5 feet to 2 feet, and weighs in excess of a ton. A lot of drilling rigs will be hydraulically driven. I did notice some of the higher end lawnmowers, they'll actually have hydraulic motors on there instead of the arbor to run your blade. So once you put it together, there's no more belts to change. They're all hydraulically run. They can lift that deck up, they can work on it, set it back down, disconnect the hoses, and actually take the deck off. But I'm telling you, the higher end, we're talking thousands of dollars for these units. I'm seeing Cameron shaking his head. He's apparently been around a couple.
They're great.
They are.
Take the deck off in like a minute. Done.
You want to clean one up? No time. Flip the deck up. You got something, you ran across something that's in the blade. I mean, literally perpendicular to the ground. I mean, you got full access to the blades with just operation of a hydraulic cylinder. So you can see the endless use of operations that can be performed with a hydraulic motor. That's the other thing, lab vault, I mean, they got some good equipment and all, but they leave so many blank sheets in the printing. And the reason behind that is they send a lot of it to India and they go right to left instead of left to right on their printing. All right, and with accumulators, we know that there's different types of accumulators, right? And here they're talking about a couple, well, A had to be there somewhere. I guess 4.3 just needs to load. All right, here we're getting this. A, hydraulic stores oil under pressure. Now let's see if it gives an example. A weight-loaded accumulator consists of a weight actuating on a piston to the incoming oil pressure. So over here is the weight, it's the piston. Then you got the spring, and then you got a nitrogen gas. Now the ones that I was accustomed to had a combination of spring and nitrogen gas, and those accumulators were 10 feet tall and about 1 foot in diameter. They used 3 of them for the injection unit. And then we ended up bypassing them just because we was able to do it with the regenerative circuit. So there's spring-loaded and gas-loaded accumulators. Man, it's just, graphics on this is terrible today. Page is supposed to be empty, or it's taking its time loading. All right, industrial accumulator circuits have a positive discharge allowing you to depressurize or bleed down a circuit after the power unit is turned off. This is usually a needle valve connected directly into the pressure line near the accumulator. And we'll be another area that, I mean, again, we'll be finishing up. 7 and 8 are the last 2 weeks of hydraulics. Think of another accumulator in pneumatics. And if you really want to think about fluid, John, I know you can think of accumulator. You just pulled one out of it, helping a neighbor or a friend.
Yeah.
Pressure tank for your well, maybe. How many have seen those? Pressure tank on a well or a water system in the house. They'll actually have canister, and, you know, generally about this big, and it'll actually have a Schrader valve on the top of it that it can be, have the pressure either increased or decreased.
A lot of people don't know when you change your pressure switch out, if you change it from like a 20/50 to a 40/60, you're supposed to adjust the air pressure in that tank too. A lot of people just put them on and that. It's not
To go. But from the safety aspect of this, they're letting you know that you can bleed down the pressure. Because remember, when we do lockout, tagout, we have to take into account all stored energy, right? Man, does snow wore you all out that much? I know it's a tremendous blizzard.
You talking about that reminded me of something. We get the pneumatics.
Huh?
Seemed like rain.
It was raining in my house.
Only thing I saw all day was rain.
Front Royal wished it would have rained. Some areas around Front Royal is up to 30 inches.
I got like 4 or 5 that just all turned into rain.
I guess at the house up in Middle Martinsburg, I might have had maybe 7 at the most, first thing in the morning. Man, just as soon as that sun started, it was gone. But, all right, measuring the storage capacity of a spring-loaded accumulator. Again, guys, these are things that you have to understand because of lockout, tagout. If there are accumulators on the systems, man, it can really mess your day up. Think you turned the pumps off, and everything's just peachy. Excuse me. And there is didn't see the accumulator for the new system. The old system, I passed around that small accumulator that is on there. And what they're doing here for an accumulator, well look, you can tell right here. Is that an accumulator?
Loading device.
Energy in the form of the spring, yeah.
So that'd be like a spring-loaded accumulator then, right?
Exactly, yeah.
So down here's my oil. You notice they're only hooking the hose into one side of the cylinder. So when the cylinder gets charged, it compresses the spring.